Mountain Dew.
Is back causing mass discussion. Can't you see them dad boys are casting? Testing competition on their podcast mission. Never know what you get. It's chaotic precision. If you don't know, you better find out the dad pack. Are here to prove a point. We three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder. Subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. Dad's home. We are the dWo podcast, representing the dad world order. I am the pretty face papa, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack. We've got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
All could hear me. New fresh cut, little beard trim, and we're doing all right.
Looking good, buddy. And he is the perpetual mid-carter and the two-time world record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Cephas.
Day 1285, and we're rocking a Rock and Roll Express shirt today.
Right on.
Rock and roll, brother. Love it. Well, as Mr. Magnificent said, we are the dWo podcast, and tonight we are back with another Because I Said So. And tonight we're talking all the little people running around your house, the infants, the toddlers, the newborns.
Oh my.
So I would say like specifically 0 to like 2, 3 maybe.
Yeah.
You know, give or take, depending on what you got at home.
Early kid advice.
Early kid advice. That is the word. Our pretty face papaw here is definitely the one with the most recent experience.
How about
with
that?
A newborn. How about that?
How about that?
The elder statesman with the most recent newborn experience. I love it.
Dude, we had him Saturday.
Yeah.
Cameron and Jonathan went kayaking for a little while. And it was like old hat, man. Jess is like, you're so natural at being a grandpa. It's like, I wish I had the patience and understanding and appreciation now that when my kids were little. But I do now. And that's, So, buddy, I tell you, we talk about it all the time about just stopping, smelling the flowers and soaking it in. And dude, I do so much.
Some bitch loving the smell of baby wipes again. Like, yes. Not
So
quite season for the baby wipes, but the smell of.
So we might get into this later, but I still never kissed him.
Yeah,
my daughter has a standing rule. You can't give the baby kisses. So
I feel like that's I feel like that's a good rule, especially with everything that's come out about how susceptible newborns are to getting sick and all the crazy sicknesses that you literally can't get unless you're a newborn.
Like hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yeah, like that's
scary.
Horrible. So I feel like that's a good. I know it's hard. You want to kiss them.
Oh,
and stuff,
dude,
but
you naturally you're like put them close and just.
But I think it's a good rule, and just respect it. If the mother and father want that, I know there's some aunts out there that probably want to. Oh, I know. I raised 6 children. I know. Yeah, well, you also smoke 2 packs a day, so let's relax, Aunt Betty.
That leads to the first question, and that segues great into the first question, which we can go ahead and pull up now. How long should you wait before in-home visits to a newborn? Not even necessarily just kisses and stuff. How long do you wait till you let random visitors meet the baby? And where is our?
I think that's up to mom and dad. Ultimately, like you set that boundary.
Do you think there's a good rule of thumb?
I want to say a month.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I want to say it's like a month from what I remember, but I mean that's just you're just kind of waiting for the baby to kind of get acclimated and get its immune system and up and running real well. And So,
yeah.
And I think, maybe especially for, lots of visitors, maybe here and there, the immediate family. But
I can understand, like, grandma and grandpa coming over if you have siblings, that small contingent.
Yeah.
But even then, I would say the first 2 weeks are just mom and dad and baby.
Our general rule wasn't really like, it wasn't defined, but it was any family could meet the baby pretty much right away, after those first 2 weeks. But as far as like the big giant group setting, my mental thought was whatever holiday comes after they're 6 months old, that's going to be like if 4th of July falls right after they turn 6 months old, then I'm going to make sure I come to a big 4th of July party and bring the baby. Or, Christmas is 6 months old. Okay, I'm going to bring it to Christmas. Whatever.
I think that's a good call for sure.
And I don't know, like, and you mentioned like 4th of July party, and like that's another thing, and it's, I guess, kind of part of this is bringing the baby out and this, in extreme temperatures and stuff like that. I know there's a story when I was little. I was an April baby, so I was a couple months old, and they had me outside in the summer. I ended up getting a really bad sunburn. Right. You know what I mean? It can happen so quick when a child's so new and fair skinned.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That was actually a question on the last episode. We were talking about summertime when it came to, because I said so, infants in the heat. It's definitely dangerous, man. I mean, you always see the infant overheating in the car stuff too. That I know mistakes happen and stuff, but that just seems like something that could never happen. I don't, you know what I mean? But
in the sunburn, think about it like this, like, how like after the winter, that first sunburn you get because your skin hasn't seen the sun in 6 months.
Yes.
This baby's skin is brand freaking new. It had zero sunlight. It was inside a person. So that skin is like ultra fair, ultra new,
Yep.
Just be careful about it. Also, wanted to shout out everybody real quick. Our boy Justin Deming.
What's
Brother,
up, Justin?
We love you, dude.
Let's bring up his big question there too.
Oh yeah. Ever make placenta steak tacos with the egg?
Listen,
absolutely not.
I love my wife, and I'm pretty much open to just about anything she'd want to do, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I think that's what Meatloaf was talking about. He would do anything for love.
Yeah,
but I'm not eating the fucking placenta after Meatloaf Jr. is born. It's not happening.
I'm good.
I can't.
Also, safety because of health stuff, preferred minimum. Yeah, it's pretty much up to the parents, but I would definitely say,
do your research, parents.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many resources out there now, and I'm not saying that you got to listen to, every parenting book out there and stuff, but ultimately, the best thing for you to do, consult your effing doctor.
Yeah.
You get a pediatrician right away and you're like, hey, what should I do? Because that person went to school to take care of your child and make them healthy. So consult them.
And I mean, during we said about the first couple of weeks, having just a little bit of immediate family, mom and dad or brother or sister or something like that, just to help with little stuff because it's an exhausting process.
Oh, for sure.
And new mom and dad need their rest too. So having somebody there to kind of pitch in that extra hand is, I'm sure I've experienced it myself, and I know, trying to help out with my daughter, and my grandson. So it's definitely something that is needed.
I tell you one thing, you guys are making it super easy for questions tonight, because let me just segue right into the next question. What are some ways that you can be present for a new mom? Ways to really help her ease the load? For me, even when she was pregnant, when she had just got done having the baby, I treated Krista like she couldn't feed herself. I tried, you know what I mean? I would try to cook for her and go get her food, get her stuff. You know what I mean? I probably bought her 400 pints of cherry cordial ice cream, and she didn't want 400 pots of it. You know what I mean? Like,
that sounds just like you, though.
Oh, bro, I was overfeeding her. Like, yes, you're feeding my child.
It was, for me, I mean, we were not together super long after Emmy was born, so I only had a little bit of time doing that. A lot of my time with a newborn infant was just single dad, and like my mom and dad were around, or my sisters or whatever. But in that short time, yes, it was a lot of treat them like they can't do anything for themselves, because they just went through one of the most unbelievable processes a human can go through.
Right.
And there's going to be times where as a dad, you're tired as shit too. But I mean, I remember there were a couple nights where, like she wanted to get to sleep, and, Emmy was still kind of up, but sleeping and not, dude, I would just, throw on a TV show and just kind of have her on my chest. Yep. And, I, not to the point where I'm falling asleep on the couch, but just, I'm trying to rest my body as much as possible while also being present.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during that maternity leave, and especially during that first 6 weeks, because not only are they trying to get over the fact that they push something the size of a watermelon out of something the size of a lemon, they're having to do, some of them have, postpartum issues, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there are certain issues that they could have to deal with on top of the healing, you know what I mean? Not to mention stuff that might be affecting them emotionally as well. So you really need to be as present as possible. I know there were definitely a few nights with our first baby, with Maya, that was just kind of like, man, I would kill to just get some sleep. But, for the most part, she was an easy baby. But I know that a lot of babies aren't easy babies. So it can be a lot.
Especially, I remember nights where Emmy was real bad in terms of like getting her. Once she was asleep, but it was getting her to. I mean, I would have to stand. I couldn't even rock her in the rocking chair. She hated that. I had to be standing and rocking her side to side.
Can't sit in a chair.
Finally, yeah, right. Like I can't actually sit. But then finally she'd be asleep. But it was that classic. I'd go. She'd be halfway into the crib, and then she'd start crying again. And there was literally times where I would sleep on the ground next to her crib just to get her to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys ever co-sleep at all?
Oh yeah.
And we definitely co-sleep with both the babies.
I didn't like in the same bed until she was probably, I would say, at least 9 months.
I think we were a little bit quicker than that, but we had one of them big ass setups. And Krista, when the babies were fresh, she would not sleep deeply. It was like she could sleep, but she would never sleep deeply. She hears even the slight crick of a baby. Yeah. She's on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean,
I never ever slept with a kid in the bed.
Really?
Yep.
We still do it every once in a while. Now our kids are, my oldest is 18, so obviously not her, but the 11 and the 6-year-old, it's not been that, or 7-year-old, it's not been that long since they crashed into bed. You know what I mean? They're just kind of sleeping between us. We all watch a movie and then pass out. But as babies, it was almost, we had this really fancy $500 crib that we barely used because we just had the baby in the bed with us. You know what I mean?
And, I mean, M was definitely like, I would make her sleep in the crib. I was always, and this was just, new father paranoia. I was like, she's so tiny. Like if I lay her down in bed with me, I'm huge. I'm going to roll over on her. But I came to find out, because like moms have, like you said, Krista had that, like she hears that little thing. Dude, dads get that instinct too. Because I had that, real. Like I knew that I was there. It was just me. And there would be times where I'd fall asleep on the couch with her on my chest, and I would wake up 2 hours later in the same exact position. And I usually roll around when I sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like a weird just instinct you get.
It's crazy to feel that outward programming, isn't it? Because it's real.
It's wild.
That is so real. People tell you all the time when you're not a parent, oh, just wait till it happens. You don't know what it feels like till it happens. And you sit there in your head and you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. I can love somebody. You know what I mean? I love my
Mhm.
mom. I love my nephew, whatever the fuck. But it's so real when that baby comes out and you realize that this thing exists because you loved somebody. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's so fucking. It's people are always like, "Oh, fucking Harry Potter, dude. Magic's right here, dude. You just gotta look for it." And it's
I've told this story a million times, but the first time I heard Emmy cry, like when she was born, they sucked all the mucus out of her throat and stuff. I cried for, I would say, at least 3 to 5 straight minutes,
Oh yeah, I
like
cried.
bawling.
I cried for both kids that I watched being born.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I, I cry if I watch a soldier come home in a video.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I cry about a lot of
Oh,
things.
dude, we just got pictures back from my sister's wedding. There's at least 6 of them where I'm crying at
Oh
different
yeah,
points during
dude,
the day.
weddings, I'm a mess.
Yeah,
I don't even
Like-
have to know them.
my sister getting married, it was just balling. But
That'd be
yeah,
impressive,
it's
by the way.
pretty wild, like you said, just that instinct, that like primal programming of just like, I need to protect this thing
Yeah.
that I love so much, and it just happens. You know what I mean? I mean, you still have to be fucking self-aware. It's not like you're on autopilot, but
No.
in those moments where you feel like, oh, I just can't do it anymore, your body will help you out a little bit.
It really is instinctual. It's crazy because it's like I said, I expected to love my baby. I didn't expect to feel this connection that's like transcendental in a way. Like there type of shit. Like the second I saw my first kid, Goose, when she was born, I was like, I know that I will never love anything more in this world than that
100%.
child right there.
Yep.
Like that. And now I have 3 of them. It's like the coolest fucking video game I ever played.
Yes,
Dude, talk
that's
about
awesome.
instincts, man. I mean, I hadn't been around an infant. I mean, besides small visits with nieces and nephews, around an infant in the better part of almost 18 years. And as soon as Wesley was around, man, I just just knew exactly how to grab him, how to hold him. It just everything just felt like riding a bike.
He's a
And it
little
just-
tall baby, man.
Man, it's
You guys are so blessed.
yeah, he's so good. He likes hanging outside, which I love.
Freaking cool. He's in he's a little over a month now, right?
Yep.
So he's in that stage where he's just like looking at everything, checking
Yeah,
everything out.
He's just now starting to focus and stuff like that. So we had him up on the table changing him, and the dogs are coming around because they're like kind of eye level, man. And he just his eyes got so bright, and he was like reaching out for him, and then they would walk away, and you see his eyes follow him. Like, oh my gosh, it's so neat to just see this progression already.
His first time seeing that creature.
Yeah,
So many firsts. That's
I think it's gonna be cool for him, man. Like to grow up, he's gonna grow up around, these giant dogs, and
yeah.
I can't wait till he can. I swear to God, I'm gonna buy him a saddle for these dogs.
He'd be like Tommy Pickles and Spike. It's fantastic. Oh, so let's transition to this next question here. What are some preparations that you should take to baby proof a home? Let's say you're a first time dad, and mom's about to pop. How do you prep the home for the baby's safety, or is that as paramount until they walk? You know what I mean? Do you really need to worry about cabinet locks and stuff like that off the rippy?
I think for bringing home newborns and stuff like that is just cleaning. You know what I mean? Having lots of, because a lot with the newborn, we go back to the immune system stuff, but it is just everything being clean and sterilized and stuff like that for them. So a lot of it is just getting a good clean plate established. That way, when you bring the baby home, you have that to start with.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was one of the things we were the most prevalent about, was making sure our house was nice and clean. And at first we did separate bottle. I don't know if you guys bottle fed or whatever, but bottle feeding wise, we at first would buy bottles and then we'd wash them, but they got so overbearing that we ended up doing the sleeves, where you would just have the sleeve that you'd fill up. That's something that I learned, that we definitely learned with Maya. And then when Lincoln came, it was like, sleeves already, dog.
Yeah, dude, you should.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I said you should see what the stuff they have now, man. The stuff that the Cameron and Jonathan have for the baby is technology. Like I can only equate it to a battery powered portaband.
Yeah.
Because I would have killed for that when I was an apprentice, and now they're just everywhere.
Dude, have I talked about that yet? I just cut off the baby talk for a second. Being back as an electrician and now having battery powered bandsaws everywhere.
Yeah.
When I first was an electrician, we had the corded ones, but it was like, that was the holy grail. Like, oh my God, we got a corded bandsaw.
We got a bandsaw.
Now we have regular bandsaws. We have large bandsaws. We have little mini 12-volt bandsaws. And everybody has one. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. This makes running conduit so much better. Anyway.
Dude, I was a beast with a hacksaw.
Right? Sitting there.
I cut senior strut and everything with it. Stick that some bitch behind my knee and cut it like it was in a vice.
Everyone who does not know anything about electric just heard wah, 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 wah,
Yeah,
wah,
pretty much.
That's for all you Sparkies out there.
All three of us work on electric. You can't, you know what I mean? It's
How wild is that? The fact that we all,
yeah.
I was just
like
talking
me and
about it
Mike
today
at work, so like that makes sense. But just the fact that you did too was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like you could have been a fucking insurance agent or something, but no, we just all do electric stuff.
I think that was part of the reason why we like took it farther than just meeting in the line. We were like, oh, you're Sparky too? Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like, all right.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, come on. It's a prime number.
Anyways,
I'm terrible at math.
from that question, it's still the same question, but it's a little bit deeper. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say this about the bottles. So Emmy, she was formula fed like with bottles and stuff, but she had the bad like spitting up and everything. So I had to get the special like Dr. Brown's with the 8 million parts and everything.
Oh Lord.
If you have to do that for a baby, just get the fucking cleaning kit. Don't try to be a hero and be like, I don't need all that stuff. Get it.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times you're washing bottles, just get the rack and the squeegee scrub, all of it. Just get it.
Dude, they have Cameron has a whole like dishwasher thing that is just for bottles.
You put them all in there and it works.
Cleans and sterilizes and everything.
Yep. It's very important.
It's crazy.
It's unreal.
I've seen some people before in the past just kind of rinse them out.
National baby. You know what? We absolutely can. I just said she was formula fed. That was a decision by her mother. Not a big deal, but shout out to Titty Juice for sure. Babies do love that stuff.
I think
Cameron breastfeeds, but not like pumps and stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry if she didn't want me to tell everybody that, but
same. But it is what it is.
It's for science.
Yeah, it wasn't the cup of tea for Krista. You know what I mean? Either. You know what I mean? So it's some people some people it goes natural for. Some people it isn't quite capable for them to do it. You know what I mean? So that's
some moms just can't. Like straight up, they can try, but you know, if it's not possible, that's why formula was created. So.
I'll give it to my daughter, man. She definitely did her homework. She read and read and read and read and read about everything, and she had a game plan for everything. So
I will.
Not everyone can do it, but it's worth your
breast effort.
I will say this: don't ever, as a dad or as a mom, anyone, don't try formula. If you're not a baby and need formula, don't try formula. Because I tried to. I was like, oh, my kid's gonna eat this. I better. Bro,
baby food,
is not
baby
good.
Formula. No,
baby formula is disgusting.
Can be great, like the mandarins from the Gerbers.
Dude, what about the baby oatmeal?
Dude, those can be great. I have helped eat some of those before. My favorite baby food to eat with my kids was the puffs. The little, like Cheetos, but they're like vanilla.
Dissolve in your mouth.
They're just like Cheerio puffs, and they got a little.
Yes. Oh,
dude, I'll tell you this. Emmy
bash them bitches.
Emmy's 9 years old, and she still drinks milk like crazy. That kid,
I do too.
When she was going from formula to regular milk, like you're like, oh, we need to start transitioning, so you put like the rice cereal in it, and everything.
Oh,
dude, I did that for
Fatten them up.
maybe a couple weeks, and I was like, this is insane. We're just going to do milk. Because she was going through, like, the tubs of formula. She was going through one every other day. That's how much milk she was drinking. And I'm like, you need to start eating food. Like, if that's how much milk you're drinking because you're hungry, that's insane. And that shit got expensive because this was back in, 2015, 2016. A tub of her formula was like $35 or something like that. And I was buying one like every other day.
Imagine what it is today, dude. I mean, that's why.
Free.
I mean, God, if you can breastfeed and if you can like go through the effort, because I see what Cam has to go through in order to pull it off, and it's a lot of effort. You know what I mean? It's no simple task. And kudos to her.
Did free.
Well, she's got to watch like what she eats and drinks and everything too,
Exactly.
because that all goes into that. So
it's all about, you got to have the timing to where you can't pump after certain things and whatnot. And it's a lot.
That's why I like the WIC program. The WIC program that whether you got money or not, you can get WIC. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important. There are certain things that are. I
had it when we had our first kid. I had it because I was just a lowly apprentice making $9 an hour, and you know what I mean, needed a little help. So no shame in that.
I remember them days.
Yep.
Speaking of which,
what I started out as.
What is actually needed when you bring the baby home? What is some stuff that you guys bought that you didn't need, or some stuff that when you started bringing the baby home, you're like, why do I have this but I don't have this? For me, we had a baby shower, and we had like 12 packs of newborn diapers. We used maybe half a pack of one, and then we had like no size ones, and we're like, what are we doing here? Why
stock up on one? Stock up on.
Well, that's I'll say this. I think that is one of the greatest things of our generation that have started. How you have baby showers, but dads can also have diaper parties where you just have your buddies together, and they all bring different size packs of diapers. They don't all bring newborn. They bring, somebody brings newborn, somebody brings one, somebody brings two, and you just get a bunch of those packs.
That's amazing.
I definitely think I'm with you though, Steve. Emmy was a newborn for like a couple of weeks or whatever, if that, because they do grow very quickly, and then once they get a little older, they'll start. My dogs are ding dongs.
Dog War 3.
Once they get a little older, that they'll stay in one for a little bit longer. But you also got to watch, some baby skin. Obviously we've talked about that can be sensitive to certain types of diapers. Like, keep an eye on that. That also buy all the fucking Desitin you can,
or butt paste, or whatever.
Just whatever. Have it on hand.
Whatever.
I was gonna say that baby wipes. You can't have enough baby wipes.
Accurate.
Also, just that was another thing, dude. I changed diapers on Saturday, man. Like it wasn't no thing.
Yeah.
My breathing technique. Yeah, my breathing technique's on point. It was.
I also would say like keeping it simple. Like Emmy's nursery, when I moved into like my apartment and stuff, had a rocker, had a crib, had a changing table. I understand if you want to be like, oh, they need to. The baby doesn't give a shit about the stuffed animals in the room. Like, if you want to make it cute or whatever, that's fine. Don't buy them a bunch of shit. Buy stuff to keep them clean and alive. You know what I mean?
And safe.
And safe. Like, they don't. Obviously, the big thing is like, don't put them in there with a bunch of blankets and everything like that, because that's something that you're like, oh, well, they're gonna get cold, whatever. No, they'll be fine. They, just keep it simple. I'm not saying don't get anything, but just, keep it simple.
Get you one of those. Get you one of those diaper disposal things.
Those are nice.
A dedicated specialty can for diaper disposal, because it will fuck a house up quick.
Yes, it will.
Especially if you get the ones that trap the scent. We had one that was really cool that like you'd put it in the bag, but it was inside of like a Glad seal bag.
Oh yeah.
So like you'd put it in and then it would roll through and it would seal the whole thing inside of a plastic wrap. And I was like, yeah.
I always thought the diaper genie was cool because it made like
Yeah.
sausage links. You clean it out and it's just a
Yeah. Here
row
you
of
go.
shitty diapers.
The diaper rash spray is gold. Yeah, any of that stuff. I always bought Desitin, but butt paste, whatever, because your baby's gonna get diaper rash. Like it's just gonna happen.
Even if you're really quick with changing the diaper,
Yeah,
'cause
it's
sometimes
just
you eat
it's going
something,
to happen.
you eat something, that shit touches your bare skin, it's gonna inflame it, and that's
Yeah.
gonna happen to your baby. For
You know,
sure.
and there's times where they'll, pee while they're napping or, take a dump while they're napping, and then you don't know until you go wake them up, and then you're like, oh no, this has been sitting here for how long?
Dude, the
It just
upper
happens,
backers
man.
though are
Oh, dude.
once you
There's-
experience that, there is no
Oh.
forgetting it.
Krista, god damn it. How do you guys feel about the nose suckers that you use your mouth for? Those
I
are
have I have a couple of stories about those.
That's pretty gross, but
Oh,
I get
my-
it.
The nose suckers that you use your mouth for.
Like not the
yes,
not the
the
ball.
squeezy.
the ball, the what?
You.
Oh,
It's like a straw.
dude, my son-in-law just did that minus fucking device to my grandson because he was like
Really.
choking on formula or something and he couldn't find the little squeeze ball, so he just went in and went.
Steve is gonna fucking throw up. Jesus Christ. Blowouts happen and nothing can prepare you. That is accurate.
Yeah, no
There's
doubt. It's like a
Oh.
horror movie.
hey man, I'm telling you, this is bringing me back too. It really
Oh, my
is.
gosh.
It's been 9 years since that.
Krista brought that up on purpose. Oh, she's gonna laugh as soon as I go back to the room after this episode. And fucking asshole.
Is there a story? I mean, what the fuck?
You're just- I don't do well with other.
All right, let's move on from that.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
do well. I can't talk with it. It's not. It's not good for Stevens.
I'll tell you one of the funniest things ever though is when you can look at a baby and you actively know that they're shitting because they have it's like a this and then the relief smile comes over their face. It's one of the best.
Dude,
I don't know why it makes me laugh every time. I watched it happen on Sunday. We went Danielle's brother has a new baby girl. She's 3.5 months. Mia and Izzy was holding her, and she was like, she either just farted or pooped because I could feel it. And it was funny because I was watching her, and you could just see the face changing and then the smile, and I'm like, oh yeah, she just let one go.
dude, my grandson let out one that rivaled something I can put out. And he went from the, like you said, just a scowl and red face to, you could just, he all but said, Jess and I were both watching him and just were dying.
Yeah.
That is just it, man. I can't escape me. Like every time that newborn is in the room, like I can't help but just stare. I can't get enough.
For real.
Cool shit. So as he's got Dog War 3 going on, let's go to this question here, which is kind of a simple answered question, but there's some input I can give to this. Who should be in the hospital when the baby comes? And I'm talking about
In
the room?
or
Yeah,
at the hospital?
in the room or at the hospital. So I think when it comes to in the room, I think that's absolutely 100% up to mom's discretion and how many people are allowed in there. I think if they are in an active relationship and everything is okay with the father, I think the father should be in there 100%. If not, then her mom should be in there. You know what I mean? Something that's extremely close.
We had her mom. It was me, her, and her mom was in there because we wanted her to video it
Yeah.
happening, and I wasn't going to be doing that. I was holding a leg up. You know what I mean? Because spoiler alert, if you've never been in there and they get an epidural, they can't feel their legs.
Yeah.
So if there's not like stirrups or anything like that, you're holding legs, brother.
And a leg weighs a lot.
It does.
Especially when you're in labor for a while.
Yeah. Emmy was 24 hours. That was a long
Sheesh.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly how long Krista was with the first one.
But she came so quick when she actually started, like, all right, we got to push. It was, a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Justin. For giving birth is a crowning achievement. Justin, thank you so much for blessing us with your wonderful dad witticisms and dad jokes. They truly make my day when we do these
guys,
shows.
This might be the first time ever that we can officially say this. We're being watched live from a plane right now. That's pretty good.
What's up, Brian?
What's up, Brian? How you doing, buddy?
Brother?
Yeah, man. Love
And
that.
the wife commented that Maya was 24 hours, Link was 12. I remember because my wife woke me up when her water broke, and I had so I was supposed to be at work at like 6:00 in the morning, so I just went to sleep, and it was like 12:30. I'd been asleep for an hour. She's like, "All right, water broke, cool." So we load up, we go do the whole thing, we travel down there, and then it's a whole ass another day before she has the baby, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
The part of you is like, sweet, I don't have to go to work today.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I drove.
To be fair, Krista is a steadfast rule follower, and I didn't have my license at the time. So,
God.
And even if I had my license, little Miss fucking does what she wants, would have probably fucking drove anyways. Okay?
You tell her now.
Krista acts like she's not a fucking INDE, whatever the fuck.
Justin, sorry to hear you had a rough day, man. Hopefully we can pick your spirits up a little bit. It's always nice to. That's one of my favorite things about doing these episodes, man. When you have a rough day, it's always pick me up for sure.
Yeah, it's always cool too for us. Like, don't get me wrong, like with people like Justin, it's easy guests, but sometimes guests take work. You know what I mean? These episodes don't really take much work for us. It's the epitome of us just bullshitting. We don't have to go an hour. We could go 2 hours if we want. It's pretty.
This is what we do best. Just give us a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a topic. Which Thursday, by the way, we've talked about it a lot, but it's official. Thursday is our first ever paranormal episode, and we're going to talk about alien abductions and UFOs. So we're going to get into the ethereal, the paranormal realm.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
I love this topic. I'm so excited for this.
I do have another piece of advice when it comes to like, I know we were talking about like who's in the room, but if you're a dad, you're in the room. Don't, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Don't overcare.
Yeah.
Like, don't keep asking questions. She will let you know when you're needed. Like, be attentive, but don't, are you okay? What do you need? Because that's just, a lot of the times that's just going to overwhelm the mom. She's already going through a lot. She's in pain for however many hours. Just be attentive is the best thing you can do for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an absolute must. And I think it's up, like I said, the easy answer to that question is whatever the mom wants. If the mom wants multiple people in there, so be it. If she wants it shut down, so be it.
Shut it down.
And I think even in this day and age too, like and this is a really kind of a tough statement to make here, but I feel like even if you're in an active relationship and if she really wanted to do it alone, you know what I mean? Didn't want anyone in there. Maybe
you got to respect that, dog.
Respect that. You know what I mean? Because it's a very vulnerable position to be in for anyone, let alone somebody going through something so traumatic. I could see certain personalities and people wanting to be alone.
And guess what? If you didn't earn the right to be in there, then your ass don't get to be in there.
Yeah. And even if it's not even earn the right, you could be the best husband in the world and she's just not comfortable with it. The best thing to do, you know, it's that if you love them, let them go kind of thing. You know, Okay, if that's what you really want, you know what I mean? I get it. Don't get me wrong. I want to be there for every moment, but you know, and I don't know. I was lucky enough to be there for the birth of all three of my children. So some people don't get that.
I have to bring this up. Do you ever shower extra sexy in case there are ghosts around? I've never thought of that, but now I'm gonna.
He's gonna be in the shower like.
When I'm in the shower, it's a whole thing because I have music going when I'm in the shower. So there's lots of singing, sometimes some dance routines. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen.
I hope there's not ghosts around because I do not look sexy in the shower. I will tell you that right off the rip.
Hey man,
I think if my wife would like
get
film me, she might be onto like some like high dollar shit.
Probably.
But, yeah.
Let's be real.
Her loss.
What else you got for us, Steve?
I got two more questions, guys, and then we'll go through a final advice. But as far as questions go, here's a decent one. When does TV or screen time start for an infant? Now, I want to say around 3 months or so was when we started showing our kids like little Einstein videos and stuff. The TV would be on, of course, in the background, but before they could focus, I don't think it really mattered. You know what I mean? Which a small addendum on this that I want to bring up. My personal advice: when you bring your baby home from the hospital and they come home that first day, it's going to be like midday because they always let you out in the morning. It's going to be like midday. Be loud as shit during that first nap time. Let that baby come home to a loud house and be active. Go cook something, turn the TV on, be a little active in that while that baby's napping around that, so that baby has that, because you don't want to have to sneak around your house for the entire
Dude, we always played music in Mikey's bedroom. He always had a radio playing in his bedroom just for that exact reason. That way we didn't have to tiptoe around the house. He was used to noise all the time. Now the kid loves music like it's his passion. I wonder if I sometimes wonder if that's related.
I would always sing Emmy to sleep with a lullaby. I actually made one up because I didn't know any lullabies off the top of my head. I would just sing to her and she'd fall asleep because I'd have to, rock her and everything. And then when I'd lay her, I would do it to like past the point of her being asleep. So she just could hear, things going on. And then I'd usually, be watching TV or playing a video game while she was napping. She'd sleep right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Oh gosh, no. We never messed with them, Rocco. I can't do. Like, there were certain things that the kids would watch that I would absolutely despise. First off, before I get to that, what up, Phil?
What up, Uncle Phil?
How you doing,
Howdy,
buddy?
Phil.
How the hell are you?
Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be in Dayton tomorrow, Phil? I would imagine you are. If not, that's kind of shitty, you asshole. I'm gonna be there. I'm taking my son. He doesn't even know yet. My son is such a mark for Myron Reed, and he's been watching Myron Reed videos and BDE videos and everything. So we're gonna take him up to Revolver tomorrow.
Nice.
It's gonna be super fun. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But no, I never.
Pray for good weather.
You do look like, the clip of CM Punk where he's like, "You have a vagina." That clip right there. That's what you look like.
You do.
Damn. I'll take it.
But no, I could never do that stuff, Justin. I don't like. There were certain shows. I'm going to get on my little soapbox real quick. Don't show your kid Peppa Pig. Don't show your kid Caillou. And I'm going to tell you why. They're both whiny fucking pieces of shit who get their way for whining. It teaches your kid to whine. Peppa Pig's like, they're like, "Oh, Peppa Pig, we can't go out to eat today. Daddy ain't got no money." She's like, "But I really want to go out." And then they end up going out at the end of the episode.
Here, I'll sell my body parts. We'll go out to eat.
Bro, and Caillou,
I want some bacon.
Caillou like knocked down his little brother's tower, and he'll freak out about it, and they'll be like, "Oh, Caillou, calm down." And then they'll just give him like a lollipop afterwards.
Yo.
There's no fucking consequence.
This Yo Gabba Gabba was absolutely
I
ahead of
love
its
that
time.
shit.
Black
was on an episode of Yo Gabba Gabba.
Bit of a fever dream, but still wonderful.
I feel like that stuff's good for babies. That kind of
It's stimulating.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like don't be a TV baby or a TV parent where you just slap the baby in front of the TV and
Yeah,
go.
say don't use the fucking TV as a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
But it can be, it's good, like you said, like, stimulation. It's almost be attentive to what your baby is reacting to. If you have something turned on, your baby's like focusing, okay, they're taking stuff in.
Yeah.
If they start crawling and sees, obviously, don't let them pick stuff up they shouldn't, but like let them explore. That's a huge thing, is letting them explore, and because this is all new. Everything they touch, everything they see, everything they hear is first time ever.
what if you
so
like?
that's a big
What if you
thing.
put on like those language learning tapes on for your child at night? Do you think your child would learn to become bilingual if you spoke to them in English during the day? And
Baby Einsteins.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
is that a thing?
I probably imagine that there's people that swear by that shit,
If not, dibs.
All
You
right,
heard it here. I called dibs on it. You can't have it.
We got one more question here, and then we'll get to final advice. What's some advice that you wish that you would have been told before you had your first children? I think mine is they're not going to just fucking break. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? They're more resilient than you think. Don't be so scared. You always see those videos where like it's like moms with their first baby and she's like going extra and everything's perfectly clean, and then mom with the second baby and she's just like chilling there, like rocking the first baby with her foot and just eating a banana or something. You know what I mean? You definitely lax up on the second baby because you learn the ropes. I understand it's scary because you just have a whole fucking human to take care of. It's not like a Tamagotchi, you know what I mean? You can't just leave that there.
I would say one of my biggest things was if you're not a patient person, you got to learn to be.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be times where you get so fucking frustrated, whether it's getting them to go to sleep, whatever. There were times where, Emmy wouldn't go to sleep and I'd just be like, fucking Christ, just go to sleep. And you got to push through that. And, there's going to be times where it's hard, but you have to be a patient parent, especially with a 0 to 2-year-old. That would be my biggest thing, because I was pretty much a single dad from the rip, and I didn't have people around all the time. It was just me and her. So yeah,
like this comment right here: tough times don't last, but tough cookies sure do.
But bad guys do.
Which, look, just the other night,
I've created a monster.
Me and Krista are sitting in our bedroom. We're watching a TV show, and Lincoln walks in the door, and he just starts spouting things. He's like, "I think Cody Rhodes is going to beat Jey Uso. I think this. And he's just sitting here talking.
He's booking. He's booking, isn't he?
He's walking around, and then he's like,
yes.
He's like, Dad, I don't think that they're going to lose, because if he was going to lose, then why would they book him in this match versus this? And I'm like, oh my God, he's really starting to get it already.
Yeah.
He's starting to understand, like, this guy's booked in a must-win position. Or, I can't remember exactly what the match is, and I'm just laughing. And I'm like trying not to let him see that I'm laughing. He's like, Dad, why are you laughing? And I looked over at Chris. I was like, you never thought she was going to have a fucking just a little tiny me running around. She was at the doctor or something, and he was asking her questions like, who's this and what's this? And she's like, I don't know. You're gonna have to ask your dad.
Dude, I'll tell you that might be like another episode, like dealing with preteens or something. But Emmy's the same way, not necessarily about wrestling, but just like things she enjoys.
Yeah.
she'll call me and tell me about the 3 chapters in the book she just read, or she just recently started getting into anime, and she will give me a full plot summary of the 4 episodes she just watched of My Hero Academia or whatever. And a piece of advice I would give is, man, if they're interested in something, even if you could give a shit less, just listen to them. Let them, because if they're excited about it, don't stifle their excitement. Let them just
even if you
go and go ramble, whatever. I'm not saying you got to dive all in and, watch it with them or anything like that. But if they're that excited that they can give you a full plot synopsis of, 5 chapters they just read in a book, fucking listen to them.
It's like one of you two said, I can't remember which one of you said it, but it was on an episode, probably maybe 20 or 30 episodes back. And we had a guest on, and I just completely lost my train of thought.
Nice.
Oh, no. It was so good, too.
Yeah, absolutely agree. The most important thing you can give your child is your time and attention.
Fuck.
I was gonna say, my piece of advice. Well, one, what Justin says here: take pictures.
Yes.
Even if you think they're like not insignificant at the time, going back and reminiscing is worth it. Is worth the price of the amount, the storage, the cloud storage or whatever.
Oh.
But I'd like to say that it's okay for kids to cry or for babies to cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it means like if you're having a tough time with it, because it can get very frustrating and overwhelming at times. And I've dealt with, like Eric, you talked about with being a single dad, is like, at a very young age, I split with Addie's mom and, had Addie very young, and, learning to walk away and collect myself,
Oh, yeah.
Before dealing, because they don't understand, you know what I mean? And I know you want to help them immediately and get them the kid to quit crying, but you got to be right first and make sure you're, calm down and everything to do with them, because they're just going to reflect off your emotions. And if you're excited and overwhelmed, then, they're going to pick up on that and give that back. So.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. That really ties into kind of what I was saying, because there were times where I would have to just let her cry in the crib. I need to go take 30 seconds in the other room and just woosah.
Yep.
For the record, I remember what I was talking about now. I don't remember.
Okay, good.
I don't remember who said it, but one of you two said that it was important to reflect when you're having a really bad moment, your kid's really pissing you off, they're really trying you, to imagine yourself being 80 years old and somebody grants you the time to come back to this exact moment. And you've lived those, the rest of your life with the babies being fully grown, and you get a chance to come back. And even when they're being annoying, how would you react to it if you had a chance to come back when you're 80? And that it kind of will center yourself. You know what I mean? It's really like this says, that is magnificent advice. You know what I'm saying? It's a fantastic way to think of things. It's the whole, like we also said about if you're having a bad day at work, stop before you go in that house, put a smile on your face. They didn't give you that bad day at work. You know what I mean? Try to make sure that greeting is great. Speaking of which, boys, do you have a final advice before we wrap this up? I have one that I think that is fucking very crucial. And that is, allow your wife, your husband, whoever, whatever you are, when that newborn is there, allow that person to have days where they don't have to do anything. Vice versa.
Oh yeah.
Even, obviously not in the 6 weeks. In the first 6 weeks, dads, you work nonstop. But when them babies are a few months old, and it's important, let the husband go have a day with his bros. Let the wife go have a night on the town with her friends. Let a wife have a Sunday where she don't do shit. You make the breakfast, the lunch, the dinner. Same thing. Give the other person a chance to get away, even if they're just right in the other room. It's very important.
Hey, you ain't wrong,
Hey.
Timmy. Sun smile.
Hey, your
Um,
son smile makes my day, dude.
Yeah, I like when you post shit.
Thanks for posting, bro. Thanks for sharing.
I'm gonna give some single parent advice since that's what I mostly did. When you are there with your kid, don't be afraid to like get down on the ground and roll around with them, or just be near them and just watch them moving around and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that you have to give them all of your attention the entire freaking day, but there were so many times that, I mean, Emmy had a bazillion different toys, and then she would pick up, a plastic water bottle and just be enthralled with it. And then I'd be down there on the ground taking a video of her, batting it around with it. And just little stuff like that, can really spark their imagination, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how best to explain this, but it makes sense in my head. There were just so many times where she was just doing something real small and just interacting with her. I'd just see her face light up, and it made my day.
Play with your kids, man.
Have
fun with them.
And even when she was a toddler, man, and she was playing with dolls or, whatever, like, I don't know how to do that stuff, but I'm going to get down there and frickin' play pretend.
Heck yeah.
I need to play more wrestlers with my son. I need to get in there right now and kick his ass.
And I will also say, if you, this is my other piece of advice. Read to your kid.
Yes.
From day zero. Read to your kid.
It's good for
read
you.
To Emmy.
It's good for them.
Yes. I read to Emmy so much. My mom and dad read to her, and she is a 9-year-old reading at a 9th grade level right now.
Damn.
And she loves it. She loves reading. And I think it was such a, like a bonding thing for us. Like, she would always want me to read her stories before bed and things like that. Like, one of the things we did, I would read the Harry Potter books to her. And I'm not saying you got to do what I did, but I thought it made it more fun. I would do like voices and stuff when I would read to her. And she loved that. Like, she, I'd be reading Hagrid's voice. No, you're a wizard, Harry, doing.
Dude, I literally have that planned. I bought all the illustrated versions of the Harry Potter books.
Yes, that's what I got her. Yeah.
That's my plan. I've never read them. So my plan is to read them for the first time and read them to Wesley.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
I know, dude. I'm so excited. I'm really so excited.
It legitimately, like, once she could comprehend like what I was saying, she loved, when I would read to her. So,
that's a great
also comment. Hey,
roll it.
Reading is what? Fundamental. It is. And also, yeah.
Lego
is definitely. Absolutely. Get your kids into Legos, man. It's a brain tool.
And this comment here, Brian, you talk about wanting to read the Game of Thrones books. If I can make a recommendation, watch all of Game of Thrones before you read the books. There are some major differences, but there is a benefit, I think. It's the first time I ever did this in my life, where I did the show before the book, and I had these, like, when they started in the book and they were like, oh, Cersei did this, I was like, I know exactly who the fuck Cersei is.
I prefer it that way, though.
It's this pre-built world in your head. It's so fun.
I prefer it that way, because usually if you do it the other way, the movie's going to disappoint.
The audio.
I will say this: I have read all of the Game of Thrones books, and I have listened to all of them on audiobook. I am currently re-listening to the Game of Thrones on audiobook because when I'm at work and I'm working by myself, I like listening to audiobooks.
Same.
And the Game of Thrones narrator is one of the greatest narrators of any book series ever.
I like his Tyrion.
Dude, it's so good. Roy Dotrice is his name. And those books are so freaking good, and it makes me really sad that I don't think we're going to get another one, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But
I hope.
highly recommend. Great books.
I hope he gets to wrap it up, man. I this is total side note, but you guys know I love that Death Stranding game.
Mhm.
And there's an artist in the first game and in the second game called Low Roar. And I have become obsessed with their music, right? And I've been listening, and they just dropped a new album this February. And I'm like, cool, new music. And then I found out in an interview that he died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he died at age 40.
Oh,
And that album that released this February was released posthumously. And it's just like, man, like I was like, I honestly, I found out because I was going to try to reach out. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
let me find more about these artists. I read that article that he passed. I was like, well, fuck, man. Like, I hate shit like that. Krista.
She's not wrong. I gotta keep remembering my answer to the question.
I feel like we do that to each other all the time.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Anyways, yeah. What's your advice?
You want my last bit of advice?
Yes.
I gotta fucking remember it. Oh man. I feel like, dude, as much as we can say, like, you know, stop and enjoy every moment and stuff like that, and it's so hard. It's so hard to realize it when you're in the moment, I guess. So I think that's why grandparents have it so well. And but I also would love to take this opportunity, one, to welcome my son-in-law to the Dad World Order.
Yeah.
And he is fucking killing it, man. The kid is absolutely just being a super dad, man. I mentioned before him just jumping in and, you know, doing the deed to clear the nasal passage and stuff. Sorry, Sophie. Sorry. But I mean, he's done everything. You know, he's been at my daughter's beck and call when she needs it. You know, he's taken the night shifts. He's done it all, man. And
That's awesome.
he's a great kid. And I just like to take the opportunity to really just gloat on him in a little bit for that.
Absolutely.
It's cool, man. And I also, just since we're here, yeah, my baby sister's about to have her first
shit.
baby. She's 23, and she was
Congratulations.
kind of nervous to tell me. I was like, hey, you beat mom. You know what I mean? Mom had me when she was 18.
You
beat
win.
Mom. And then also, Caitlin, hi, Chastity has babies. I'm already an uncle. You know what I mean? So you're going to make me an uncle again.
Uncle Bo.
Uncle Bo.
I'll tell you what, I did have a really cool moment on Sunday. Like I said, we were with Danielle's family
Krista.
for her brother's birthday, and her brother has Tristan, who's very young. He's 2, just turned 2, and then the 3.5-month-old baby. And Tristan called me Uncle Eric.
Aw.
And
what do you want, kid? You want ice cream or something?
I was like, all right. Well, here's the crazy thing. Murphy boy, what are you doing?
Now you got to establish a handshake.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I've been a dad for 9 years, but I've never been an uncle. And like, I never would have thought like, oh, being, you know, I'm already a dad. Like, being an uncle should be no big deal. But like, hearing him call me Uncle Eric was just like, I like that title.
Put that in a notch in my belt. Yep.
And I don't know, it was just really cool. And we went bowling on Sunday, and being able to, like, I held the ball for him, and he, like, you know, went up and pushed it down the little thing into the bumpers, and
Hell yeah.
he was just having a heck of a time and telling me he's super obsessed with Cars right now, like the movie, just cars in general. And he like I was like, you got any cars with you? And he like reaches down in his little jean short pocket and like pulls out his little Hot Wheels and everything.
Got Lightning McQueen tow meter on me at all the time, son.
That's such a fun part of being a dad. I've bought Lincoln so many fucking wrestlers. So many of these wrestlers that I swore I would never open, I pulled straight off the wall and was like, here you go, dude.
Let's play with these. You needed this one.
Yeah. Fuck am I going to do? Look at it. If it ain't signed, I fucking gave it to him for the most part. Like
that means way more.
You're going to be a girl uncle.
No, Caitlin, Chastity had a daughter too. She doesn't see. You got to understand. This is my sister on my mom's side, and then my sister on my dad's side. So they didn't mesh too much.
Gotcha.
So she had a boy and a girl. She technically had 2 girls, but she
did you not read his Wikipedia page? Come on.
Do I have a Wikipedia?
Well, you know what? You're going to be an awesome uncle. Is what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah,
and no doubt.
I will be there. Yeah, not that too.
I won't.
That too, Caitlin. Matt and Kelly have Riley. That's my niece. The hell. But yeah. I will be a good uncle all around. Tomorrow, Brian. Phil's going to be there. He just confirmed that in the comments as well earlier. So it's going to be a nice little fun time. I'm coming directly after work, and we'll see how it goes in. But yeah.
Pray for good weather.
Yeah, hopefully.
Those fair shows are the best, though, dude.
Yeah.
I saw Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Coco Beware like years back at a fair somewhere in Ohio like that. No, it's not quite Myron Reed and the boys, but
my rap name is Uncle Daddy.
Is that like Uncle Grandpa?
Right? Uncle Grandpa. Oh my
That's
god.
Amazing.
This is very true. Can't wait to have baby.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, you boys got anything else before we head out of here? That was a great episode.
Yeah, it's fun. Sound off in the comments, man. If you guys see this episode and you want to see us cover a certain topic when it comes to raising children, I think our next one's probably going to end up being something teenager related.
Or it doesn't have to be about children. It can be about
lawn care. You know, so we could trans
any dad related issue.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to cover and bullshit about.
Yeah. Hell yeah, boys. Well, it's been a good episode.
Absolutely.
We went over an hour on a BCISS.
'Cause I said so.
I don't know if we're ever going to get that. The guy he started making it, he made the halfway song. I think I sent you guys the halfway song.
Yeah.
The layout of how it was going to sound. And then he went through some shit and kind of had some life issues and hasn't hit me back up since. But I would imagine at some point we'll hear from him. But either way, I love you, boys.
Love you too,
I'm happy that you got a fresh new infant in your life. An episode all about cats.
I fucking refuse.
Yeah.
What? You get the fuck out of here.
No.
You're going to love cats. And you're going to at least pretend to in front of my wife.
If we do an episode all about cats, we have to do it all 3 of us from your house.
I think we just need to do an episode about pets.
About pets?
Episode about pets? That's fine, because I got 2 ding-dongs right here that won't shut it.
Yeah, my dogs are being complete angels right now. So, I mean.
Here's Murphy boy.
Murphy, I love. It's Charlie Murphy.
Murphy boy. And the Brishka boy. The Brishka boy's
like,
here
where's
too.
my love?
He's
Podcast
here.
appearance like number 15 for him.
Yep. Brishka boy's getting a little chunky.
Well,
he's eating good.
Yeah, I say he's happy.
Oh, yeah. This boy's never had it so good. It's crazy.
happy anniversary to you and your old lady. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Happy for you guys.
1-year anniversary. Yeah. Life's good, baby.
Oh yeah. Boys?
Well,
it's a wonderful toy.
We have been the dWo podcast. I am Big Rig Eric Manfey. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Bo Cephas. You can check us out on all the socials at dWo_podcast, Facebook at the dWo podcast, TikTok at dWo_pod. Get that dad merch at Pro Wrestling Tees, T Public, or message us directly. Like, subscribe, listen, follow, all that good stuff. And until next time, top dads.